Yo, what's going on, guys? Gonna be showing you how to carry on Dr.Mundo top lane here in season 12 with the best runes possible on grass, demolished with bone plating, or second wind. If you're up against a poke range matchup like Teemo or a Quinn, then you definitely want second wind instead of bone plating. And then you want to finish it off with overgrowth, free boots, and very important, approach velocity. That way, whenever you land your cleaver or the enemy is slowed or CC'd in general, you'll be moving faster into them. Mundo top lane plays generally best against melee champs, but if you do take second win, you can play against ranged champs as well, not including Vayne. Vayne is unplayable, she does max health damage. I thought we were up against an Aatrox. I actually like the Aatrox matchup on Mundo. Mundo should play fine into Cho'Gath as well. Mundo can't be hard CC'd until they take off your passive. It's basically like a Malzahar passive. Plus you get extra health regeneration out of it, and if you pick it up, you get extra HP. Your Q is damage and a slow, and it also does current health damage, so the healthier they are, the more damage it'll do. We want to try to get our grasp up and then look to take an auto trade. Like that. And we hit him with a Q at point blank range, hit him with an auto, and we can back off since our grasp is now on cooldown and his is up. Next minion, he goes into last hit. I'll try to grasp trade with him. Yeah, we're gonna just all in him here. Try to body block him. He can't match our damage output because our cleaver is just such a good auto attack resetter. That was such a good trade for us. Even though we lost a minion, it was definitely worth it. If you're gonna lose a minion to poke somebody, just make sure you're doing some significant damage. So there we only lost one minion and we did over half his health. He's trying to juke us out. We're gonna get as close as we can, then cleaver. That way we are less likely to miss it. Unfortunately, we did still miss it. Oh man, missed that one. Happens. If your E's an auto attack resetter, and if it kills something, it shoots it like a missile, kind of like a Scion E. But if it doesn't kill whatever you hit it with, then it doesn't do that. I'm gonna try to walk into him. Nice, nice. We're gonna need to shove this wave. I need to get a ward down as well. This is around the time you're gonna start to get ganked. I don't have my ward though, because I did that nasty all-in. Warwick just used his W on me. Cho'Gath's in no position to really follow it up. I could actually probably solo Warwick here if I play it right. I have wave prior right now, so Warwick can't really take this. I can push him off. Heck, I might just take it myself. Yeah, I'll just take it myself. I'm missing a little bit of XP and gold, so I kind of need to get the scuttle to make up for it. His wave's pushing into me now. I could freeze it on him here if we really want to. If you're getting pushed off the minions, but you want to keep up your grasp, you can use your Q. As long as you're taking damage or dealing damage, it'll stall your grasp so you can still use it. We're gonna keep him off the wave. Want to get him with this grasp. Nice. He can't even knock me up. The silence doesn't count as a hard CC. Silence isn't slows. It has to be a like a knock up, a stun, a snare, polymorph, suppression. So Cho'Gath can literally never knock me up if my passive is up, if it's not on cooldown. His wave's pushing to us, so all we have to do is make sure he has more minions than us by 3 to 4 caster creeps, and we can essentially hold the wave permanently. We don't want it to push too deep down the lane, so we're going to need to thin this out. This is way too many minions. Cannon minion counts as like 3 to 4 caster creeps on its own in terms of damage output. Auto attack, Q reset. I was going to miss that minion if we didn't use our Q there. Oops, missed that one. He's missing out on a lot of gold here. He's not getting many last hits. Once we hit level 6, we'll be able to all in him. I'll go ahead and pop this potion. I don't want to get ganked on low HP. Pushing him away. Don't want him to get any minions. I'm also trying to keep a close eye on the minimap. Mundo's roams aren't that great because he's relatively low mobility. And he doesn't have amazing CC. All he has is a single target skill shot slow. So you're not usually looking to roam unless it's an absolute freebie. You still have this in a freeze. He has 3 minion advantage. A lot of players don't know how to handle this. Some players will just step up and try to break it. But since we're ahead, we should be able to solo him. And that's kind of how we made the freeze in the first place, is we can beat him in a 1 versus 1 because the champion difference, even if I don't whittle him down first. Just because our cleaver max slash current health damage is so much. It is current health damage, but the tankier they are, if they're full health, you hit them with the cleaver, it absolutely chunks. We have level 6 advantage on this guy here. Ah, man, missed that minion. I'm actually pushing him off some of the XP of these melee minions because he's standing so far back. He's actually missing some of it. It's really, really good for us. Our wave is building pretty heavily. We're gonna have to push it here. I'm gonna go ahead and use our W for the AoE damage. Your W is damage reduction and a little bit of AoE damage. Got the wave shoved. I'm gonna look to pop a demolished here. He can't CC us anyway, so he doesn't have the damage to really threaten it. Queued him right as it was aggroing my minion, so we just walk out. I would love to all in him. I just don't think we're gonna be able to. He's hiding under his turret. Backing on cannon wave's fine. Auto attack E resets. He's still not 6, so I don't really care if Warwick shows up. We're gonna pick that up. That being said, if I'm below half health, Warwick is even more likely to show up. He just burned his R on that. Alright, yeah, we just need to push this and spend our gold advantage. Because now he has HP advantage, but he's basically out of mana. I would really like to spend my gold. Auto attack E reset, down it goes. Into cleaver. We'll back off. We'll make some space. We'll just TP back to lane. Once you hit level 6, Mundo's on a pretty big power spike. It's hard for most champions to solo him at that point. For your mythic item on Mundo, you usually want Frostfire Gauntlet. Grab this. And I'm also going to pick up an early Bramble Vest. It might seem kind of weird since Cho'Gath's self-healing is fairly minimal. He only really heals his health and mana whenever he last hits something. The reason I got the Bramble is because they have the Aatrox massive self-healer, Warwick massive self-healer, and a little bit on the Cho'Gath, plus Ezreal in the late game. So the Bramble Vest is a little preemptive, but I know if Warwick ganks me and I have Bramble, I might be able to turn it and kill both of them. Plus, I couldn't buy anything else very good. It was either a Bramble or a Null Magic Mantle plus a Cloth Armor, which would have been kind of garbage. Should have cleavered that minion. Got it with the E reset. Pick that up. Get our health back. It also puts your passive on a lower cooldown. Your passive gets on a much lower cooldown per your champ level. In the late game, when you pick up your thing, it comes off of cooldown like instantly. Pretty much instantly. Try not to stand too close to the minions because by default it's going to shove the wave because of our Balmy Cinder. This guy's just playing so defensive. We're not actually we're not really getting to lane versus much here. He's playing so far back. Since he's staying full HP, even though we're quite a bit bigger than he is right now, it's going to make it hard for us to ever kill him because if he's full health under turret, that is no easy task to kill. Obviously, Q max first, E max second, max your W last. We might just start roaming on this guy. I don't want to put you guys through a lane of only freezing. We're up a ridiculous amount of CS on him, but I know that's not the most interesting thing to watch. We'll go ahead and dump the wave, and then we'll look to take Herald and stuff like that. Nice, I needed that minion to start tanking. Force him to walk around so he doesn't lose half his health. We get a plate. Now we're up really big on him. It looks like he tried to roam to help his jungler. We have a Garen jungle. Garen jungle is actually pretty good in my opinion against most melee junglers. Especially when you run Predator on him. It's solid. Get him with that E bowling ball. Didn't quite connect there. Got him with the grasp at least. And a Q. Our demolish is on cooldown. Auto attack E reset. We only took a turret shot for it. And it was a beautiful trade for us. That last turret shot we took was very unnecessary. Still waiting for that Warwick gank. I would love for him to gank. Whenever you're about to take a lot of damage, make sure you turn on your W, because you'll be able to heal back a huge chunk of that damage that you take. And you don't want to get too close with your Balmy Cinder. Your Balmy Cinder or your Bramble Vest will make the turret aggro you if it hurts the enemy. So keep that in mind. If you do have the Bramble Vest, you need to be really careful when you go underneath turret. If it's a range champion or like a GP and they hit you, on-hit effects like GP's Q will make the Bramble Vest. Okay, I think Warwick just got Dragon, actually. He's not up here. Wait, Aatrox is, though. I'm going to Ghost. He ignited me, and I was already really low on health. That was a lot closer than I would have liked it to be. That was actually really close. We're sitting on a massive recall. Frostfire. We'll TP back. You can't TP to non-turrets until I believe the 14-minute mark. That's a relatively recent change that they put in the game. Massive item advantage on Cho'Gath. We're going to shove the wave down, poke him underneath turret, and then go in for the dive. I'm going to hold on to my W. It's a fairly long cooldown, and it doesn't help you push the wave that much faster. I feel like we might have to fight a 1 versus 2 here in a second. When they line themselves up between turrets and walls is the perfect time to cleaver them. There's no way for them to juke it, even though they feel like they can. Their hitbox is just too big. Down he goes. Auto attack E reset Q. Got him with cleaver. Warwick wasn't healing very much because of our Bramble Vest. It's kind of funny. Here comes the Aatrox looking at his items. He's not a full item, but I only have 700 health. Oof. Reactivated our W to get the healing back. That we were so close to dying there. He really took his time with closing the distance. I was focused more on juking. I knew either way, though, he probably couldn't kill us, but I thought I might be able to outplay him and bait him into diving or something. For your boots on Mundo, you're usually looking for plated steel cap or merc treads against their team. They're very, 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 very auto attack heavy. You know, I'll go for the merc treads. I feel like it could give solid value because of the Cho'Gath silence, Warwick fear, Blitzcrank silence. Against potential Cho'Gath knockup, Blitzcrank knockup, Aatrox knockups, it wouldn't help versus those because Tenacity doesn't interact with suppressions and displacements. But for everything else, it's going to be hard for them to land their knockups on me anyways because my passive. So the Cho'Gath silence doesn't peel off your Mundo passive like we talked about. Slows and silences do not remove Mundo passive. Thus, you're not immune to them. Against a singular knockup, though, it does basically nothing. It just scrapes our passive off and puts it on cooldown until we pick it back up and wait a few seconds. And in the late game, when you pick your passive up, it comes back up instantly. We're going to stay on the split push. If you do plan on playing Dr.Mundo, I highly recommend banning out 𝗕𝐿 or Vayne. Those are two very unplayable matchups for you. They'll just shred you down as if you're not an actual tank, but you are a tank. So ban them out. You should be able to stick on the split push for most of the game until it makes sense to group. If the enemy's hiding underneath turret, if you have a roam, take it. Otherwise, just poke them with cleavers and try to out CS them and freeze the wave if you can. Like this game, we've built up a massive CS lead. Oh, that's not good. We might actually die here. Yep, that's unfortunate. We took almost entirely physical damage, plus we got ignited by the Aatrox, which cut our healing in half. Ignite is a, I believe, yeah, 60% heal cut. The Morello and Bramble start out at 40%. Ignite's all the way at 60. It's pretty brutal. Need to finish our Thornmail for some extra armor. Third item on Mundo. You really need to get mobility if you can. Something like Dead Man's, or actually I might just try to grab some of that right now, and then I'll finish my Thornmail. Winged Moonplate is ridiculously valuable on Mundo. Having that little bit of extra movement speed puts you at nearly 420. This, I'll show you this guy's movement speed if he shows up. Okay, so for Garen, I don't know why he's moving so fast right now. He must have Relentless Hunter in his runes. But Vayne's moving 375, Lux is moving 355, Syndra's moving 375, and we're moving 420. So, and once we're in combat, that doesn't go away either. What we need to do is just stay alive and not die to random Warwick stuff like we just did. Because if Aatrox has his Ignite up, then I don't think they're all over here. I just straight up win this. Yeah, I just win this. I'm gonna Ghost to give myself resets. When you get a kill or assist and you're on Ghost, it extends its duration. At point blank range, it's gonna be easier for you to land your cleavers. And that's the power of Mundo. If you're dealing with low damage champions or champions that don't have executioners, you just straight up win because your cleaver does percent based damage. So you can tear through tanks pretty well with it. If you've ever played a full fun like 5 vs 5 tank game, you'll find that the two best tanks to beat tanks with is normally Mundo and Poppy, because Poppy can do 16% of their max health with her Q, with one Q if she lands both sides of it, and then Mundo can constantly do 30% of their current HP with his cleaver, which is kind of insane. He can't even hook us if it landed because our passive. I mean, he's gonna hook me and he's gonna see it's not gonna do anything. And now my pass is gonna be back up here in a second. We'll just keep taking up space. We have a ward down that's in front of us. That's important. If you're gonna play really far up, you need a ward somewhere closer to where the enemies are gonna be than where you're currently standing. So most likely they're gonna come through this way rather than all the way around through this way, through the deeper way. If I had another ward, I'd like to get it right here just in case they do go for a deep loop. We can look to take camps now since we're shoved up to turret and I only see where one of them is on the mini map. This is a safer option. Auto attack E resets. They don't have the right comp to kill us. You need a max health damage champion like Vayne. Or a mage that can go Leandries and Demonic Embrace. But none of their champions really have max health damage. So I think they'll have a lot of issues trying to kill us. That's so funny watching the Cho'Gath Q happen. I'll R for this. We'll turn on our W here in a second after we land Cleaver. Auto attack E reset. You could probably take this without any minions. That's the turret demolish. It's so valuable. A lot of times when you can't land a cleaver on them, but they're standing close enough, what you'll do is you'll auto attack Q and then you'll E reset. If the minion's full HP and you can surprise them with just like a quick cleaver and E, just like that. Like they don't expect that kind of burst because a lot of people realize what your E does, but they're looking at their minions thinking, oh, my minion's full HP. But then all of a sudden, if you cleaver it straight into auto attack E reset or E, it's usually enough to just dump it on them. It's more useful for laning phase than it is at this point in the game, but it's still nice to know like that's a decent option. You don't always have to cleaver champion. Sometimes cleavering a minion is a better option for whatever reason. If you can't land a raw cleaver on the champion because they're too far away or behind minions. Auto attack E reset. This guy is really aggressive. I'm gonna have to cleaver the Aatrox, get him away from me. Oh, he keeps cutting in. I'm just gonna throw my cleaver inwards like that. There you go, buddy. Hold on to that for me. Garen's got the flank. I got my W on, auto attack E reset. Got my R going. I'm gonna ghost. Garen should get the kill. Yeah, this guy's done. He's done for. Auto attack E reset. Auto attack Q reset. Down he goes. We get ghost resets once again. It's just a war with Blitzcrank. We can kill them both. We've power spiked. This is what I was talking about when I said this game was going to get difficult for them. I actually, believe it or not, I wasn't trying to steal that. I was trying to help him take it. He was taking it way faster than I thought he could. At this point, we'll go ahead, get our Thorn Meld, then we'll finish our Dead Man's. Now, your main option is to go for Warmogs or for Force of Nature. Warwick does a lot of magic damage, so does Cho'Gath, Blitzcrank, and Ezreal has a little bit as well. So we can justify the Force of Nature, which is awesome because the item gives a bunch of movement speed. So we've double stacked movement speed items, which is kind of the meta on tank champions right now anyways. Like the best Poppy builds are all Force of Nature Dead Man's, and many other tank champions like Cho'Gath as well. You want to end up with a Dead Man's Force of Nature because just mobility is realistically the tankiest stat in all of League of Legends because there's so many abilities and items that do max health damage that, oh cool, you have 6,000 health. Well, guess what? They just did 4,000 extra damage because you're a tanky, right? But when you're fast, if they can't hit you, they can't hurt you. That's what I mean when I say that. Mobility is, in a lot of ways, the tankiest stat in League with as much true damage and max health damage that they've added to the game. There was a point where, there's been many points throughout League of Legends where tanks late game were one of the best, probably the best thing to have by far. I think League's at a point now to where that's not necessarily the case. You don't need a true tank. You still want a frontliner, like maybe a bruiser or like a melee support like Leona. And I know you're gonna say, oh, but Leona's a tank. When I'm saying tank, I'll specify like a tanky support, right? But when I say just tank, I'm talking about things like Zac, Rammus, Nunu, Mundo, Ornn, like a man's man, a man's tank, you know? Leona's not that type of champ, but she ends up being that type of champ because she gets access to really cheap and expensive items. Plus the support item gives way too much gold and free stats to where support tanks a lot of times end up being tankier than real tanks in the early mid game. Which is when it's most important to be tanky because that's before all the crazy damages are. Ooh, we're actually in trouble here. I can't move. Thank God Garen's here because I got cucked. I couldn't move. Holy crap. That was a lot of CC. All that talking about Leona is making me delirious. Yeah, hold on to that for me, Ezreal. Hey, buddy. Oh my, look at his health. I hit him with my, what am I hitting him with there? With my briefcase. It looks like I pull out some kind of suitcase or briefcase there. This isn't even the corporate Mundo, so it's a little surprising. We'll ghost for this, get the assist on Cho'Gath and get resets. I activated my W early because I wanted to get that health back. I felt like Cho was about to arm me. Very nice. Like we talked about, Mundo plays very well into melee champs. Got my W on. Down he goes. Generally, the highest value tanks give is when they're low on health but stay alive because it baits the enemies into trying to focus them. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this little Mundo top lane commentary guide for Season 12. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is kingstix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Let's take a look at the graphs. Looking at damage dealt to enemy champions, we're the second highest in the game behind our Giga-fed Garen jungle. Looking at damage taken, we've taken the most on our team at 23,000. For healing done, we'd have done the most on our team, not the most in the game. Warwick had the most from his self-healing, mainly off jungle monsters. Let's look at self-mitigated damage real quick. Self-mitigated damage was 24,000. I had a crazy amount of self-mitigated. I actually had the most self-mitigated in the game. I just didn't have the total highest damage taken in the game. Looking at our runes, Our grass did 1400 damage and healed us for 1200. Demolish did nearly 5k damage to turrets. Pretty nutty. This rune gives so much value if you're winning lane. It's really, really strong. Bone plating blocked only 349. Cho'Gath was being very passive and was usually unwilling to fight us because the few scraps we had early went so poorly for him that I think he just realized he couldn't solo us. Overgrowth gave us a bonus 228 HP. This is a bit of a scaling rune though. Magical footwear got it by the 12-minute mark, and approach velocity oh my god, approach velocity sped us up for 67 seconds. So for over a minute we were being sped up, which I'm pretty happy with, because once again Cho'Gath was very absent from lane for most of it, to where we didn't get to pad this stat very much. All in all, Mundo Jungle, a great pick as long as you know what you're playing him against. You can absolutely not pick him into things like Vayne or 𝗕𝐂𝐈𝐀𝐋𝐒. It just does not work.